Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And I am beginning on this nice day by thanking Talkers Magazine for the nice write-up. It's been passed out amongst my colleagues. And again, thank you for that. It's very nice whenever your career is highlighted. Dominic Carter here with you. The number to reach me this hour, 800-848-9222. What do New York City and Seattle, Washington have in common? What do these two cities have in common? Each have socialist mayors, and each of these socialist mayors in Seattle and in New York City are utter failures. 800-848-9222. Of course, in the national headlines these days, the shooting at the food festival in Seattle, 3 adults killed, a baby wounded and shot, 15-year-old in custody. The police commissioner was out of town at the time of the shooting. You cannot make these things up. And in New York City, we're dealing with the death of a 12-year-old out of the Bronx. What do each city have in common? Failed socialist mayors. The situation here in New York City.
I just wanted to see his last resting place, and I don't know. I really don't know. Just to feel him.
There's a growing memorial here for 12-year-old Jacob Freitas. People have been stopping by all day, paying their respects, lighting a candle, leaving flowers. Freitas was killed here while he was riding his bike on Saturday afternoon. He was here just around the corner from where he lives when police say a group of men started getting into a fight. One of them pulled out a gun, fired at 2 other men, and Jacob ended up getting shot and killed. Among the people who stopped by here today was Jacob's aunt, who says her nephew did not deserve this.
A good kid. He was just a boy. He loved sports. He loved basketball. He loved just his bike. As you can see, that's how he lost his life, on his bike.
Police made an arrest in this case, 45-year-old William Farrer. He was arraigned last night on charges including murder and attempted murder. He's pleaded not guilty in the case.
There's always more to be done. We can never accept that a 12-year-old boy sitting on his bicycle outside of a bodega could be killed in our city.
Rhetoric, Mom Donnie, nothing but empty rhetoric. 800-848-9222. Failed socialist mayors in Seattle and in New York City. Then, and we see your telephone calls coming in. We're about to begin with them momentarily. Then you add Governor Dum Dum. You won't believe what is about to happen in Minnesota, Governor Tim Walz. I want somebody to explain to me why young children, why the governor is signed off on young kids in school receiving dolls that are transgender. The dolls have parts, genitalia, that you can change. So one day it can be a boy, one day it can be a girl, and this is an utter mess. This from Fox News.
First of their kind, transgender dolls are set to debut in Minnesota classrooms this fall. The taxpayer-funded paper dolls come with genitalia that can be removed and then swapped out. A therapist at the University of Minnesota Medical tells the New York Post that they spent over a decade developing the dolls. The goal is to help kids, quote, learn about the different options that exist for who they can be. The website for the dolls promises to, quote, make gender fun. It says they were designed for clinicians and educators and lists their purpose as therapeutic play and gender identity exploration. They'll reportedly be in classrooms with kids as young as 4.
So isn't that just wonderful? In Minnesota, giving 4-year-old kids dolls, or paper dolls, whatever they may be. One day the doll can be a boy, the next day the doll can be a girl. We see your telephone calls, 800-848-9222. But the Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, making a very, very good point. And think about this, right? And she's correct. You can't give a child medicine at school without parental permission, but yet the child can go through transgender, transitioning psychology, and parents not know about it?
Yeah, and this is a travesty that parents are not considered first and foremost in charge of their children. They don't belong to the government. They belong to their children. So in Anne Arundel, Maryland, we found that transgender activities were in place, and that parents not only were not informed, but it was being hidden from parents. So I can tell you that our investigation, we've turned it over to DOJ. They have likelihood of losing federal funding or a lawsuit or both. Also in Ann Arbor, Michigan, same thing. We're looking at information being withheld from parents. And from Burlington District in Vermont, where parents had opted out of surveys that were being given to their children that were asking very specific sexual questions. This was happening in some of the other districts too. And so even when parents opt out and see these surveys with sexually explicit questions, drug use, alcohol use for 7th graders. I mean, this is really outrageous. And to hide it from parents and actually create separate file folders so that when parents ask to see their children's records, that is being kept from them, and it's being done on purpose. And so we're just not going to stand for it. Parents have every right to determine what their children's education's exposure is going to be, and we're going to enforce it. You can't give a child a Tylenol at school without parental permission, mostly in writing. But yet you could go through transgender, transitioning, psychology, and parents not know about it. We're just going to stop it. We're not going to stand for it.
And thank you, Trump administration. We're going to move through as many calls as we can during the course of the hour. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll talk to former Congressman Peter King. Let's begin with George, line 1, Westchester County. George, what's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic. You're now the Bob Grant of Talk Radio, period.
Well, thank you.
Listen. Communist China sent the COVID virus here, and all they talk about is Fauci. Why are they protecting Communist China? Why are they letting children dissect themselves and not telling the parents? It's all communism. It's all coming in through immigration, and you guys don't want to stop legal immigration, so you're in on it. You hear me? You're in on it. You don't want to stop legal immigration. You are in on it, on the invasion and the communist takeover of America. Why are you protecting Communist China? Why are you supporting Saudi Arabia? Why?
So are you saying I'm doing these things, George? I'm a little confused.
Everyone in Talk Radio who does not bring up Communist China sent that virus to America, and they blame Fauci. All they do is bring up Fauci's name and Pelosi's name. We know where you're coming from when you bring up those names all the time. What about all the other people that were involved in it? And if COVID wasn't so bad, didn't President Trump come down with COVID? He needed oxygen. He got the best doctors. He got treatment that people couldn't get. So, and when he was in the lawsuit, he raised $100 million.
All right, George. I got the point. I thank you for the call. You know, folks, let me say this. I have a firm rule of not dealing with people like this, what I'm about to refer to, but I'm going to break it for this one time, and then I'm going right back to the telephone calls. So B. Wallace Cheatham, I'm not going to give out your address. I have received all of your letters. I get it. You want me to be a stronger black man. I get it. But please, slow down with the letters. You're sending me, I have in my hand right now 5 letters from you. And I haven't responded to you in over 2 years since you've been sending me these letters, where you want me to be Mr. Black Man America. Newsflash, dumb. I'm not going to be who you want me to be. Stop wasting my time with your crazy letters. Are you retired and you have nothing to do? And, you know, I really shouldn't reference this at all. But, Mr. Cheatham, how many letters are you going to send me? I get it. You love Mamdani. You don't like the fact that I challenge Mamdani. You don't like the things that I say about Mamdani. But give it a break, and let me tell you what I think of you. I just ripped up your letter, one of about 10 that I have in front of me. Stop wasting my time. Valerie in the Rockaway. Valerie, what's on your mind?
Well, I just want to talk about the whole transgender doll nonsense.
Oh, boy.
How much I believe that is connected to this very nefarious, underhanded, communist takeover of start with the children and you work your way up.
Okay,
and,
hey, but Valerie, but wait a minute. Why would Governor Walz go along with this?
He's a freaking moron.
But Valerie, I'm confused. I really am confused. Maybe you can help me. I'm going to give you your say. My granddaughter, I want to say 5, but I think she's 4. I don't know. I'm a grandfather. All I know is she can get anything from me, and she's going to get older, right? My grandson is 14 years old, Carter, so he already, knows of this issue. I don't want my granddaughter growing up with this nonsense. I really don't. I don't understand. Why would you want kids to have a doll? Well, one day you can put a penis on the doll, and the next day you can put a paper doll, and the next day you can put a vagina on the doll. What happened to Barbie? What happened to Barbie and Ken, Valerie?
Because it's about controlling the population. It's about taking God out of everything and making the state the God. And they start with the school. The school is the God. They're taking the parents out of the equation. It is all part of this greater plot, which most people think, when I say things like this, that I'm a freaking nut job. But I know I'm right. And I've done enough reading, enough historical reading, that this is what the communists do. The Islamists.
Hey, Valerie, you just said nut job. No, you're not a nut job at all. The first nut job was the nut job was the first caller, who was Steve from Manhattan, but he thought that I didn't know who it was. But anyway, go ahead, Valerie.
But my friend, I do believe that the Islamists and the communists and these socialists, which is so silly because socialism and communism are two sides of the same coin.
Agreed.
They are going to eat each other up eventually.
Well, hopefully, Democrats and Republicans are still around. But Valerie, thank you for the great points. Let's go to Roger in Yonkers. Roger, you know what, Roger? Do me a favor, Roger. I've got to take a break. I don't want to, rush you through in 15 seconds. So please hold on. Roger and Yonkers, we see all the other calls. Louis, Arthur, TJ. We're going to get to them, to name a few. 800-848-9222.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I am looking at my Twitter, at my ex. The lovely Debbie Lebedo says at Dominic TV, Dominic, you're a black man in America? I thought you were an American patriot, period. Why does your color matter? You know what, Debbie? That is an excellent statement. You have to understand, this nut, B. Wallace Chittum, has been sending me letters for over 2 years, often 3 to 4 a month, right? Telling me how much I'm a sellout, an Uncle Tom, on and on and on. And what's sad about it is, so as a black man, I'm not supposed to be successful. As a black man, I can't be conservative. As a black man, I can't form my own opinions. To the B. Wallace Chittums of the world, go screw yourself. Am I allowed to say that on the radio, guys? No? It's okay? So again, go screw yourself. That's what I think of you and your letters. And I'm not opening anymore. Let me show you what I'm doing to the next one right now in front of the camera. I hope you heard me. I'm trying to rip them up. I'm not reading any more of your nutty letters. Go carry your nonsense out on somebody else. I see you over there laughing, Philippe. I see you. I'm a black man. I'm supposed to be Farrakhan. I'm supposed to be Black Lives Matter. I'm not supposed to go to work every day. and have a work ethic and want to own a home. And God forbid if I own two, it's a good thing that this person didn't know me and my wife when we owned three. So am I a black man because my wife is black? Because my wife grew up in Harlem? Because we live in the suburbs? Does that mean I'm a sellout? I wish I could really say what I want to say. Let's go to Roger, line 4 in Yonkers, dealing with our top story, transgender dolls for children as young as 4 in Minnesota, starting this academic year coming up, and you can interchange the parts if you wanted to be a boy one day, if you wanted to be a girl one day. Roger, what's on your mind?
Okay, hi, Dominic. Your show is terrific, and I would just caution people that, unfortunately, with all these communists winning elections all over America and people coming into the country voting communist, it's obvious it's a grab bag now. They just want all the goodies, and they want to take the country as they're given. They're given the country. 1 million people come from the third world every year, and they're voting Democratic. I mean, where's Uganda? It's upstate New York. No, it's in Africa, and that's where Mommy Tommy came from. And all his voters, 80%, 90% of his voters are all foreign-born. So this is going all over the place in America. Nobody's doing nothing about it. Now, here's the thing that I really believe, Dom, everyone should do. This is what everyone should do.
Okay, quickly, because you've gone on for over a minute and a half. Go ahead, quickly.
Okay, everyone who was eligible to vote in the 90s, people should ask them, why didn't you vote for Patrick Joseph Buchanan?
Okay, all right. Click. Meet Mr. Click. Let's go to line 1, Marco in New Jersey. Marco, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm just still dying laughing over here when you mentioned Ken and Barbie. You know, Ken is a feminine white man, and Barbie was a dumb blonde from L.A. That's what you want to.
And Marco, and what are you?
I'm a straight Latino man.
You a what now?
A straight Latino man.
And how about smarts?
I'm very smart. I'm very smart.
You're very smart? It's hard to tell. So. It's hard to tell with all your Trump hating. It is hard to tell with all your Trump hating.
Is done with you.
Marco, you're going to get that more and more every time you call to be Wallace Cheatham. I'm ripping up another one of your letters. It's what I think of you, homeboy.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are back. So, you know, folks, I said that I would ignore the nuts going forward. So Steve from Manhattan called under a few different voices. We got you, Steve, and I got something for you. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. And I'm going to Congressman Peter King in just 1 second. But as far as this nut that I was telling you about, this man has been writing me letters. I don't subject you folks to all the things I have to deal with. His name is B. Wallace Cheatham. And I'm just going to read quickly one of the letters. Hey, Uncle Carter, if you want to address the black community concerning the tragic death of the young basketball player, then you have to go into the black community or from a black radio station. Your station is white-owned with a white listenership. Anyway, you are not a black community leader. The black community has its own leaders to deal with the situation. A black guy with a job on a white-owned station thinks he is some kind of celebrity and wants to self-appoint himself as some kind of leader of the black community. The black community has its own leaders. By the way, the mayor is doing a great job and is highly respected, as is his wife and family. Trump is a loser, and the Israel government is composed of lunatics. Have a great day. B. Wallace Cheatham. So when I come into work, often I have to look at letters from this nut. 90%, 95% of the mail is positive that I receive. People trying to help me with diabetes, all types of wonderful things. And then I have this nut. Now, you know what's so ironic about this, folks? For the first 7 years of my career, I did nothing but cover the black community. I worked at WLIB, WBLS, under a black owner. I was out there covering the black community. But now, because I work for a different radio station and because my politics are conservative, now I'm the devil. And this nutbag has locked on to me and won't let go. And so every letter you get, what I'm going to do from now on, every letter I get from you, I'm not even going to open it, Mr. Cheatham. I'm just going to do this. And that's what's going to happen. I'm going to rip it up. So I wouldn't even waste my stamp if I were you. I'm not even going to read your letters anymore. You can go yourself, okay? And you put the word in there. You know exactly what I mean. Let's go to Congressman Peter King. Congressman, how are you?
Doing fine. I was a little nervous, though. You said you have to deal with all these nuts, and Congressman King is coming up next. I figured, oh, my God. Yeah, I'm not Sid Rosenberg. I mean, come on.
Hey, Congressman, someone you knew well, a celebration of life for Senator Lindsey Graham. Before we get into anything else, reflect on him, the man, the leader, and so on.
Lindsey was a great guy. I was proud to call him a friend. I couldn't think of a bad word to say about Lindsey Graham. He was a dedicated patriot, great sense of humor, but very serious about what he believed in, fought hard. And if we had more senators and more members of Congress, because I first met him when he was in Congress, then when he went to the Senate, we stayed friendly. No, we didn't work together all the time. We agreed on almost every issue, but he was in the Senate, I was in the House, but certainly on security issues, homeland security issues, MS-13, terrorism, all of that. Lindsey was just, again, a great guy to work with. In fact, he and I, back in 2000, we both campaigned for Senator John McCain. And again, I just couldn't say enough good things about Lindsey. He is really, really going to be missed, especially compared to so many of the people in politics today. I'm not saying the old days were so great, but I'm saying Lindsey Graham was great.
By all accounts, at his service today. So let's talk Mamdani. I'm not even going to ask you a question. What comes to your mind?
Anti-American, anti all we stand for.
Right, and I agree with you 1,000%. How long is he going to be able to continue to do what he's doing?
I think he can go on for a while. Unfortunately, he has a city council. It's maybe even as crazy, if not crazy, than he is.
Correct.
I say crazy. Crazy means they don't know what they're doing. They do know what they're doing. They have evil motives, and they are cleverly moving in that direction every day. It's only if somewhere, if the voters speak up, the next set of elections, if voters are heard to, let's say, affect the congressional races, the state assembly races, the state senate races, that could send a signal to the city council. They got to clean up their act and maybe be able to put some restraints on Mamdani. But he's not going to. I don't think he's your normal, public official who is that concerned about what the voters think. So long as he can stay in power, he's going to be satisfied because he just wants. He has a very left-wing agenda. He wants to pursue it. He'll do whatever he has to do, to get it done. So that means a lot more to him than just the popularity of day to day.
Congressman King, the petition, I think, is now 25,000 strong of 9/11 families that don't want him at the commemoration. Why would he insist on being there when the families don't want him there?
Yeah, first of all, I don't think he should be there. My only concern with this is if he keeps up, I don't want him to become the issue. One way or the other, I hope this is resolved a few weeks before September 11th because just like with Netanyahu, I mean, he kept himself in the news cycle for 2 weeks, making allegations and making claims that he was going to arrest Netanyahu when he knew he could never do it. But he dominated the news cycle for 2 weeks, so people were talking about him. When it comes to September 11th, I don't want to hear Mamdani's name mentioned. And if he happens to be there, fine, not fine, but ignore him. Because if we're talking about him, all of us, and you and me, so many people, we lost so many good friends and neighbors that day, and the suffering continues with those families. There's still families today suffering from 9/11 illnesses. So I just don't want to be talking about this guy. So I hope he doesn't show up, but I don't want to keep this fight going right up till September 11th because I don't want to hear his name mentioned that day. I just want to hear the names of those who were murdered that day and what our city did to fight back and come back, which to me was so, whether it was Giuliani, whether it was Tom Von Essen, whether it was Bernie Kerik, whether it was all the cops firemen, construction workers, everyone, the average rank and file New Yorker who fought so hard to come back and never gave up, never let our spirits get down. That's what we should be talking about, not this guy who's an anti-Semite and anti-Western civilization guy.
So why? And I guess I'm asking you to get inside his head, which is impossible because you and I don't think the way that he does. Why does he think it's okay to skip the Israeli Day Parade and then turn around for 9/11 and all of a sudden you want to be there to represent the city when you have Jewish leaders having the news conference last week blaming him for, and rightfully so, for setting up this entire scenario? So how do you say, I don't want anything to do with the Israeli Day Parade, but then 9/11 and all of a sudden you want to be there?
Well, to me, there's no way you can do it logically or morally, but he has his own agenda, and he feels that he's done enough to damage the reputation of Israel, so it's worth it to him politically to take the shots at Netanyahu, be anti-Israel, and be anti-Semitic, because they're a large minority, but still a minority. When it comes to 9/11, he knows that the overwhelming majority of people, oh my God, like 90%, 95%, have nothing but great feeling and great love for those who died that day. And it's something that will always be in their hearts. So he wants to identify with that, I think. So, I mean, if he was, I hate to use the term, this is a winning issue for him. If he can somehow show, yes, I'm anti-Israel, but I stand with those poor people who were murdered that day. But then, as he's saying that, then you think back, there he is meeting with one of the architects of 9/11. There he is just making remarks in the past, almost explaining why 9/11 happened and almost attempting to justify it, and associating with people who are so anti-American and so much in favor of the Islamists. So he's a walking contradiction. But he knows what he's doing. Whether he's successful or not is going to be another story. When I say successful to him is being unsuccessful for the rest of us and for the city of New York. But it's to establish his type of government and just somehow have that become the dominant force in New York City. And he's not going to stop. He's going to keep going, and he's not going to be swayed by the things that sway most people, because he doesn't really care what other people think. It's what his own people, whoever they are, what they think, this left-wing, progressive, and anti-Christian, anti-Semitic, anti-Western civilization cause that he's espousing and fights so hard for.
So, Congressman King, here's what I don't get. He doesn't care about the wealthy, right? So the new tax, he's releasing their names, and which defies logic, especially considering in this city you had a CEO murdered right outside the Hilton.
Yeah.
Who's going to pay the bills? Because these people that voted for him that are delusional, they think it's an endless pot of money. And they don't understand what's going to happen once the wealthy bounce and the tax roll. Mamdani don't care about them. He'll just, a list of cuts, and that's it. Who does he think is going to pay the bill?
Well, to me, he's that extreme type of socialist, which they feel that they'll take from the rich, they bring down the rich, then that gives more and more power to the government to be running things, to be controlling things. And again, if you go in all these socialist countries, even communist countries we're talking about, the people can be starving, but those on top, those government leaders, in Russia, they lived in their dakas, and you can go around, whether it was Castro or any of these other leaders over in China, go down the whole list of communist leaders and extreme socialist leaders, they live well. The people under them don't, and yet by then, the people realize what's happening is too late, because the control is in the hands of, again, that hardcore left.
So I close this way, Congressman King. I want you to explain this one to me because it's a head scratcher. Governor Tim Walz, who was a heartbeat away from the White House, this starts in September in schools in Minnesota, paper dolls and with transgender dolls for kids, in which the kids can change the sexual genitalia of the doll. So one day it can be a boy, next day it can be a girl. Why would a governor approve something like this?
You shouldn't have me on your show. You should have an abnormal psychologist on here to try to figure these guys out. No, seriously, Tim Walz, I can't figure him out. I knew him. I thought I knew him when he was in Congress. I didn't know him well. He's always a friendly guy, Midwestern guy. His hair was sort of rumpled, and he was sort of going around like, the guy who'd be running a local grocery store. And he'd call him Sarge because we thought he had this great record with the National Guard. And it turned out to be a totally different person. I have no idea. He's appealing to the extreme left wing of his party and all of these things. Whether transgender is almost like a minor part of it. What it is, by advocating for that, it's going against the roots of our civilization. So they're almost using advocacy of transgenderism, if that's the term, to just another way to knock away at the blocks of our society, of our culture. The European culture, the Judeo-Christian culture, which has made America so great. And the more they can chip away at that and take it down, that's a success. I think that's what Tim Walz is identifying with these people. But he's become a mental case himself.
Congressman King, it's always an honor to chat with you. Regards to your wife, and to your family. Thank you, sir, for joining us. I look forward to chatting with you in the very near future.
Now, if Rosemary sends you a letter, you're not going to tear it up, are you?
Hey, you know what, Congressman? On that note, let me get another letter from this nut. And I want the nut to know, there goes your letter. And I'm just saying, Congressman King, and I for 2 years I haven't made the public aware of this, but I'm sick of this nut. Right? So, and this is a true story. So yesterday we're going for a walk, and my wife and my son, before coming to work, I'm trying to work out a little bit more, and we were in a park in Haverstraw on the waterfront. It was beautiful, beautiful. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, you know what? I need to find a way to buy one of these condos. And then I'm like, oh, God, if I own a home and if we have a home and I buy a condo, what are these Harlem nuts going to say then? They're going to attack me even more. And I'm like, why am I living my life for these nuts, letting them get inside my head? Because they're angry, because they can't look in the mirror, because their lives didn't amount to anything. These nuts, and Congressman, thank you very much. It's always great to chat with you. These
you're the man,
nuts,
Dominic.
you're the man, Congressman. Thank you very much. These nuts were not with me when I left the projects and said I'm never going back to the projects. I've got to make it work in college. These black nuts were not with me at grad school at Syracuse University when I was the only black graduate student and had to find a way to make it work. And instead of you saying, brother, congratulations, you want to try and tear me down? You can kiss my ass. Am I allowed to say that, Carlos? I can say that, Philippe? Let me verify it. You can kiss all wide parts of my black ass. How about that? It is time for a break. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And the Tunnel to Towers Foundation final thoughts of the day. Boy, oh boy, I'm in trouble now when I get home because I'm lectured every day at home. I'm lectured by some of you that are close advisors of me. Don't take the bait. Don't take the bait. You have to ignore them, Dominic. Just ignore them. Ignore them. But you know what, folks? Sometimes you get tired of ignoring these nuts. And if I wasn't clear, I've calmed down. But if I wasn't clear in the last segment, to these black nuts that keep emailing, oh, you're not black. Kiss my black ass. How about that? Okay? I guess I was calm. Line 1, Greg in Vernon, New Jersey. What's on your mind, Greg?
Hi, Dominic. I just wanted to comment on this gender-neutral doll. I mean, this thing is just beyond stupid. Are any of the clergy, the Catholic Church, the Jewish, anybody pushing back on any of this? I don't know how new this news is. It's the first time I've ever heard of it.
Oh, well, it's all over Newswise online now, and I just don't understand what Democrats are doing with this, Greg. I don't. Why would you want to confuse children like this? I don't get it. Don't children have enough to deal with in terms of as they get older? And now you want to teach them starting out as young as 4. One day you can be a boy. The next day you can be a girl. I mean, do you see any logic in this, Greg?
No, it's the stupidest thing in the world. It goes completely against the natural order. There's everything has a gender. Cats, dogs, fish, birds, trees, plants, insects. There's a male and a female of everything. And we're not excluded from that. We don't get to choose that.
That's a great point, Greg.
Stupid.
It's a great point. There are male alligators, female alligators, and I think it's gator mating season. But Greg is correct. Male lions, male dogs, female dogs. Thank you for the call, Greg. Let's go to Joe, line 3, Connecticut. What's on your mind, Joe?
Dominic, nice talking to you again. Listen,
thank you.
You and I share the same values. Don't you ever change. All right? I'm proud to call you and your family my friend because we look beyond the skin, we look at character, values, and so on.
I hear you, Joe, but I'm being honest with you. They beat you down and beat you down and beat you down. If you don't think the way that they think, I'm in a position. Bo Snerdley's in the same position I'm in, right, as an African American. But and they don't harass my white colleagues like this. You know why? Because they're intimidated by my white colleagues. But when it comes to me and my colleague I just mentioned, they demand that we think one way. I'm not going to think one way. I'm very proud of the President of the United States of America. I think that he's the greatest president that we have ever had, and I think that he's doing wonderful things, and it's time to lock these criminals up. And who's committing the crime? I don't have to tell you, Joe, who's committing the crime. We all know who's committing the crime, but they're in denial about that as well. And you can't talk about that because that's racist. So, I don't want to say anything disparaging, any further thing about George Floyd. But, Joe, thank you for the call. Let's go to Leon, line 1. And, oh, boy, I'm sorry, Leon. I was going to try and get to you, and all the lines are lit up, but we're out of time. I am sorry, folks. I am back at midnight. Folks, born from the tragedy of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been honoring America's heroes ever since. Donate $11 a month and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org. And again, to these folks, to these critics in the African-American community that's always on my back, kiss my ass. I am back at midnight.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?